Welcome everyone to our Spring Orchestra concert. My name is Lillian Howe and I'm the 6th grade Vice President of Marking Period 2 and 4. Sadly, the 6th grade President of Marking Period 2 and 4 couldn't make it today. On behalf of the 6th grade orchestra, we have worked very hard on these songs and would love to play for you today. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. I hope you enjoy.
Good evening. My name is Sophia Fitch, and I am the 6th grade president for marking periods 1 and 3.
Hi, I'm Sophia Anderson, and I am the vice president of the 6th grade orchestra, marking periods 1 and 3.
Our first song is called Orpheus in the Underworld by Offbeck. You may not know the song by its name, but hopefully you'll recognize it when we start to play. We hope you enjoy this song as much as we enjoy it.
Our next song is Into the Sky by Brian Balmages.
If you listen carefully and close your eyes, you can imagine a rocket blasting into space and floating in the galaxy. We hope you enjoy this song.
Thank you, parents and guardians, for your time and dedication to make this possible. We are the 6th grade stylists, Leah Arciello
and Matilda Penman. We would like to give a thanks to our very own Mrs. Link, Mr. Gluck, Mrs. Daniels.
Mr. Evers, Dr. Kirk, and the Toms River Board of Education.
We appreciate your love and support throughout our music journey.
This will now be our last 6th grade song.
It is by Jeffrey Frizzy and is titled Attack.
Please be seated. We hope you enjoy.
Hello everyone, I'm Jackson.
And I'm Paisley.
We are both presidents of the 7th grade orchestra and are happy to welcome you to the 7th grade portion of the concert. I want to first touch on how Miss Link has helped us become even better and overall taught us so much more about our instruments. I'm sure Paisley would agree.
Yes, I do agree. I think that I've gotten much better at my instrument and really just think I have had an amazing time at orchestra this year and would be happy to introduce our first song, Silver Forest.
This song is a contemporary piece with an also contrasting fierce feeling to it. So welcome and I hope you enjoy.
Hardship. This 2010 composition by Larry Clark has lots of intensity and will keep on the edges. Try to imagine the nemesis appearing in your mind.
This is Antagonist by Larry Clark.
Hi, I'm Lily McCaskill, president of the 8th grade orchestra. We appreciate all of you for coming and supporting the concert. And we've been working really hard to prepare these next pieces for you all. Over this year, we've definitely improved, not only in our skills, but in working together as a group. And we really owe a lot of that to our amazing director, Miss Lane. Our first song is titled Amadeus, written by the famous composer Mozart and arranged by Jim and Hoffman. This song is the opening track to the movie Amadeus. Between the different types of notes and the variation in sound, this piece is definitely intense compared to our other pieces that we'll play tonight. As you listen, try to hear each individual instrument that plays a role in bringing this wonderful piece to life.
and I just started playing violin this year. I learned a lot about the violin and I gained a lot of knowledge. I feel like I've really improved since when I first started in April. And if you're thinking about starting violin over the summer for high school, I would highly recommend it because it's taught me a lot.
This next song is Presto. Presto was composed by Mozart when he was only 8 years old. He named it after the word presto, which means to perform at a quick tempo. And this song is definitely performed at a quick tempo. It's very lively and energetic. And he created Presto as the finale of a symphony.
I really like Presto because I feel like it's so fun to play and it's also very fun to listen to, and it brings a lot of excitement and joy to everyone who's listening to it. So as we play, listen for the change in dynamic and speed from a softer, slower pace to a louder, faster pace.
This next song that we're about to perform tells the story of a swan. It's a very classical and emotional piece, originally composed as a ballet by Russian composer Tchaikovsky in the late 1800s. If you haven't guessed by now, this next piece is called Swan Lake. There will be parts in the song where we play quiet, and parts where we play louder and with more emotion, and we do so to tell a story. So as we play, listen to the powerful dynamic changes that shape the piece.
Our next song is my personal favorite. The Waltz Number 2, composed by Dmitri Shostakovich, is a classical waltz released in 1938. This song keeps a steady beat with the lower sounds of the orchestra while displaying intricate melody with the higher strings.
While the waltz by Shostakovich has several different sections, we will only be playing the first page. We hope you enjoy that.
Before we play our next piece, we want to take a moment to share a story, one that means a lot.
Back in 6th grade, our orchestra teacher handed us this song. At the time, we didn't know how much it would come to mean to us. It started out as just another piece of music, notes on a page, but soon it turned into something more.
We played this together not just for our concert, but together for fun and for practice. In doing that, we built memories, grew as musicians, and more importantly, as people and friends. This song became a symbol of everything that made us fall in love with what we play. It was a soundtrack to our laughter, rehearsals and classes, and the pure joy of playing music with the people we care about.
Though things have changed, we couldn't have asked for a better director. Miss Link brings a smile and a positive attitude every day. The memories we've all shared will last a lifetime. This piece reminds us of the happiness she brought to our journey, the growth we've made since, and the deep connection we still feel to those early moments.
So tonight, we're not just playing a song. We're honoring those memories. We're celebrating our love for music, and we're showing how far we've come since 6th grade. This is Night Shift.
select orchestra performances, my co-leader Melissa and I have 2 songs we would like to share. First up is Lovely. To some of you, this song might seem familiar from our last show in January.
Lovely is one of Billie Eilish's earliest hits. Released in 2018, it showcases a beautiful relationship between the piano and an orchestral arrangement. We missed the target on this song last time we performed. In other words, we don't believe we did it justice.
In good spirits, our select orchestra of 7th and 8th graders will now reattempt this beloved piece. This is Lovely.
To our final song of the Select Orchestra Golden Hours. Written and performed by Jake, Golden Hour is a very popular piece for musical groups.
Its simple but gorgeous melody and lyrics caught everyone's attention when it was released in 2022. This song is famous for showing all the dimensions of love.
With a fast-paced, buried beneath Jake's heartfelt ballad, it beautifully portrays the twists and turns of being in love.
We think we can all agree that Jake did a fantastic job.
Thank you for listening to our show. We hope you enjoyed it.
The Select Orchestra presents Golden Hour.
additional educator that's up next. Her concert is next, and I apologize that I went over my time, but I just want you to know that this is Mindy Padalino's final concert before she retires. So if you can stay for that concert, that would be amazing. We're going to close with Pachelbel. Please be ready to play as soon as I turn around. Theme from Canon in D. Just be ready to play. And I do apologize, choir parents, but I'm so happy for you that you get to celebrate this amazing night with Mrs. Padalino right after this last piece. Thank you, parents. Thank you to my parents. Thank you to my husband. Thank you to my kids. And thank you to all you students. You made this year so much fun. Thank you.